The stage lights came up slowly, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. The judges were settling into their seats, flipping through their notes, sipping water, and preparing for another round of auditions. Simon Cowell, who had flown in as a special guest judge for the episode, leaned back in his chair, ready to see what the next contestant would bring. Everyone thought it was going to be just another audition, just another hopeful singer trying their luck. But the moment this young Filipino man walked onto the stage, something felt different. He wasn't dressed in flashy clothes, he didn't have a glamorous entrance, and he didn't carry the kind of swagger most performers bring when they're trying to impress Simon Cowell. Instead, he walked calmly, almost shyly, with a humble smile and a nervous wave. The audience noticed his gentle energy. The judges could sense his sincerity. And Simon raised an eyebrow, curious about what kind of voice such a quiet young man could possibly have. The host asked him his name, and he introduced himself in a soft voice that immediately captured the room with its innocence. As soon as he said he came from the Philippines, the crowd cheered warmly. Ireland is home to a strong and supportive Filipino community, and hearing his gentle introduction created an instant connection. He explained that he grew up in a small town, listening to old vinyl records of Elvis Presley that belonged to his father. Those songs shaped his childhood, comforted him through struggles, and inspired him to dream. He shared that his father never had the chance to pursue music professionally, but he always told his son that one day the world would hear his voice. Answer: this audition was more than just singing. It was fulfilling a promise, honoring his father, and taking a leap of faith. The judges listened closely, touched by the sincerity in his voice. Simon asked him what song he would be singing, and when the young man said he would perform one of Elvis Presley's legendary classics, the crowd erupted. But Simon Cowell tilted his head, surprised and slightly doubtful. Singing Elvis is a challenge. Only a few dare to attempt it because Elvis wasn't just about vocal ability. He had a unique energy, a charisma, and a tone that could shake an entire stadium. Many singers try to imitate the king of rock and roll and fail miserably. So when this shy Filipino contestant announced his choice, Simon crossed his arms, leaned forward, and prepared to judge with extra scrutiny. The music started, and from the very first note, everything changed. The audience froze. The judges sat up straight. And Simon Cowell's eyes widened in shock. The voice that echoed through the theater wasn't just good. It wasn't just impressive. It was hauntingly perfect, rich, velvety, powerful, and dripping with emotion. It carried that unmistakable Elvis timbre, but somehow even smoother, even more controlled, even more breathtaking. People literally gasped. Some covered their mouths. Others turned to their neighbors, whispering, "Whoa, did you hear that?" Within seconds, the room was wrapped in his voice like a warm, golden blanket. His stage presence transformed instantly. That shy young man completely disappeared, replaced by a confident performer who commanded the spotlight without even trying. He closed his eyes as he sang, letting the music guide him, letting the memories of his father fill his heart. The notes flowed effortlessly, each one hitting with precision. Every word carried emotion so deep that the audience felt it in their bones. It wasn't an imitation. It wasn't a gimmick. It was a rebirth of the Elvis spirit, delivered by someone who truly understood the soul behind the music. Simon Cowell didn't blink. He watched intensely, leaning further and further forward, trying to understand how a voice like this came from someone so young, so gentle, and so humble. Halfway through the performance, Simon glanced at the other judges, and they were equally stunned. The female judge placed her hand on her chest, overwhelmed. Another judge unconsciously stood up from his seat, mesmerized by the power of the young man's voice. And then the big moment arrived, the iconic high note. It's the note that separates good singers from unforgettable ones. And when he hit that note, the entire theater exploded. People jumped to their feet. The crowd screamed. The judges gasped. It was a perfect note, held with so much strength and emotion that even seasoned vocalists would struggle to match it. The young Filipino singer didn't just sing the song. He lived it. He made everyone else live it with him. It was electrifying. Simon Cowell, the toughest critic in talent show history, didn't even try to hide his amazement. His jaw dropped, and he actually smiled, a rare, genuine smile reserved only for a few extraordinary performers. As the audience continued cheering, Simon placed his hand over his heart and shook his head slowly, genuinely moved. For someone known for his brutally honest critiques, this reaction alone was a historic moment. The young man finished the performance with quiet grace, holding the mic close, pouring the last ounce of emotion into the final lines. And when the music faded, the entire theater fell silent for a split second. It was that magical kind of silence that happens only after something truly extraordinary. Then, in an instant, the audience erupted into the loudest standing ovation of the night. People screamed. They applauded. Some even cried. The Filipino community in the audience waved flags proudly, celebrating their own with deep joy. It was a moment that transcended talent shows and became a cultural celebration. The host ran out on stage, overwhelmed. He hugged the young singer, telling him that he had just delivered one of the greatest performances in the show's history. The singer himself was shaking, trying to hold back tears. All he could say was, "Thank you. Thank you so much. You don't know what this means to me." The judges took turns speaking, each one more emotional than the last. One judge said he revived the spirit of Elvis in a way no one had ever done before. Another said his tone was better than any Elvis tribute artist they had seen in their entire life. A third judge admitted she had goosebumps from start to finish and didn't want the song to end. And then it was Simon's turn. The entire theater quieted. Everyone wanted to hear what he had to say. Simon leaned into the mic, his voice steady but full of admiration. He told the young man that what he just did was beyond extraordinary. He said he didn't just sing the song perfectly, he honored Elvis while bringing his own soul into the performance. Then Simon said the words that the entire internet would soon repeat, "You don't sound like Elvis. You sound like someone even better." The crowd went wild, cameras flashed, fans screamed, and the young Filipino singer covered his face, overwhelmed by emotion. Simon wasn't done yet. He stood up from his seat, pointed at the golden buzzer, and said, "This is what this show is all about. Someone with unbelievable talent, someone the world needs to hear." Without another word, Simon slammed the golden buzzer. The golden confetti shot into the air, sparkling like a dream. The young man dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. The audience screamed louder than ever before. It was a moment so powerful that even the hosts were wiping their eyes. The judges joined him on stage. Simon walked over and shook his hand firmly, telling him, "Your father would be incredibly proud of you." The young singer nodded, tears falling uncontrollably, whispering that he wished his father could have been there to see this. But in many ways, he was. His spirit lived through the music, through the voice he passed down, through the dream he inspired. That night, the Filipino community around the world celebrated. Clips of the performance went viral instantly. Millions of people shared it, saying things like, "This guy is the new king, the best Elvis voice ever heard, and he sings with a soul that touches your heart." The world fell in love with him. Radio stations replayed his audition again and again. Fans from Ireland, the Philippines, and across the globe left messages saying how proud they were, how inspired they felt, and how they couldn't wait to see what he would do next. As the show progressed, his journey only became more emotional. He performed again in the semi-finals, choosing a song that showcased not just his Elvis tone, but his own unique artistry. He blended classic rock vocals with modern power, proving he wasn't a copy. He was something completely original. Judges praised his versatility. Fans followed his every step. In the finals, he dedicated his performance to his father, saying that everything he achieved was because of the man who taught him to dream. His final performance was so moving that it brought some judges to tears. He didn't just sing, he told a story, he shared his heart, and he changed the atmosphere of the entire theater. But what made him truly special wasn't just the voice. It was the humility, the kindness, the gratitude he carried at every moment. Despite the sudden fame, he always thanked his supporters. He always acknowledged his roots. He always remembered where he came from. And that authenticity made people love him even more. Outside the show, interviews poured in. Everyone wanted to know his story. He revealed that his family struggled financially, that music was his escape, and that he had worked countless odd jobs just to survive. But even during the hardest times, he never gave up singing. He said he used to perform at small community events, local gatherings, and charity functions not for applause but simply because music made him feel alive. And now the world was witnessing the payoff of those years of dedication, perseverance, and faith. When the season ended, doors opened everywhere for him. He was invited to international events, collaborations, and major concerts. Record labels reached out, producers wanted to work with him. And through it all, he kept that same humble smile, that same gentle presence that first walked onto the Ireland's Got Talent stage. The legacy of that audition lives on. It remains one of the most talked about performances in the show's history. Fans still replay the video daily, leaving comments like "I get chills every time, this voice is a gift, and he was born for this." His story continues to inspire young singers everywhere, especially those who come from humble beginnings. They see him and realize that dreams don't require fame, connections, or money. They require heart, they require courage, and sometimes, they require stepping onto a stage with nothing but faith in a song. And that Filipino singer did exactly that. His journey reminds us that talent has no nationality, no borders. Great voices come from unexpected places. Great moments come from unexpected people. And sometimes, the world meets a star who was never trying to be a star. He just wanted to share the music he loved, the music his father taught him. And in doing so, he created a moment that will be remembered forever. This is more than a performance. It is a story of hope, passion, and destiny. A story that proves one voice, one dream, and one moment can change everything. And if you ever doubt yourself, if you ever feel like your dreams are too far away, just remember this young man, standing on that stage, trembling with nerves, holding a microphone, and singing his heart out. Remember how a single moment of courage turned into a golden moment that touched millions. Thank you for watching this incredible journey. If you love inspiring stories like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share this with someone who needs a reminder that dreams do come true. Stay tuned for more unbelievable talent moments from around the world. And remember, greatness can come from anyone, anywhere, at any time. Keep believing, keep dreaming, and keep supporting real talent.